about real estate, and America's longest running daily radio show all about the topic of real estate. And we are heard live Monday through Friday. That's 5 days a week at 5 p.m. live and 5 p.m. live 5 different ways, in the AM dial, on the FM dial, on the apps that you can download on your smartphones and take us with you, on our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com, as well as on our Facebook Live page. Right now, we're broadcasting this show live on all of those channels. And you can always listen to the show, even on demand, just by going to the website at automaticlandlord.com. Go to the top of the page, click on the Real Estate Show tab, and under the notes, each day has an embedded link there that allows you to read the notes, listen to the show, all of it in its entirety, all of it on your schedule. And you can also even download the podcast version there and take our show with you offline as well. Well, so we've talked a couple of weeks now about the moratoriums. We talked about the position of landlords in the moratoriums. And now let's start talking about where the market is in reality with all of this going on. You know, the lack of supply, continues to plague the marketplace. And one of the things, and for this reason, we have scheduled our first workshop in a number of weeks, a first-time homebuyers workshop. It's going to be tomorrow evening at 7:30. If you would like a link to attend, free of charge, free of obligation, if you'd like to attend our first-time homebuyers, we're going to be talking about loan programs, down payment assistance, the stuff that we don't have time to go into full depth, and it'll be followed by a live Q&A as well. So if you're interested in learning more about first-time home buyer, all of the options and resources and opportunities that are out there, because today I want to talk about how to deal with, who's outbidding you by tens of thousands of dollars for that home of your dream. One of the things that we've seen that's been setting in is what we call buyers bidding fatigue. That buyers go out there, unassisted by experienced brokers, or even assisted by some real estate brokers who don't know how to deal with and level the playing field with some of the big players out here. Because who's winning? Who's outbidding you by tens of thousands of dollars for that home of your dream? Well, most likely it's a hedge fund. And most people don't understand what a hedge fund exactly is, but it is a specialized fund designed to come in and buy properties. And well, the hedge fund has designed for a special purpose, whatever it is. But over the last few years, there's been a number of hedge funds specifically funded for purchasing single family homes, because they as well, remember we talked about this when we talked about the institutional buyers, we talked about this even when we were talking about the major financial planners, all saying real estate a year from now will be more valuable than it is today, and as good advice for their clients, that they should have real estate as part of their portfolio. So if you're a first-time home buyer, meaning that you have not owned a home in 3 years, you could have owned a home before, but if you have not owned a home in 3 years, then you would be eligible and considered a first-time home buyer. And tomorrow night's webinar is designed to answer your questions and to arm you in that quest for a piece of the American dream. After all, that's our mission here on the Real Estate Show, is to educate and empower more people to own a piece of the American dream. And that's what we're all about. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the webinar tomorrow night at 7:30. So you don't have to go anywhere. It's still, 100% COVID free, safe, easy to access from wherever you are, your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop. Come join us. And in order to come, all you have to do is text the letters DPA, Down Payment Assistance. Text DPA to 561-861-2366. That's get your phone out, type in the numbers 561-861-2366 and then text DPA to that number. And I'll give out that number a couple more times. We want as many people to be able to get that information. Nothing is being sold and nothing at all there. It's going to be great information. And normally on Tuesday nights, we have workshops for credit. We're going to resume that the following week, but this coming week, very special, is that. So these buyers often come, and I'm talking about the hedge funds now, with the kind of financial firepower ordinary Americans can't hope to match. And I'm talking about millions and sometimes billions of dollars in their accounts. So, like I said, the lack of supply, and that's the thing that we're dealing with right now. So obviously, the old supply and demand equation, the lack of supply of single family homes has just pushed up the prices of housing in many markets across the country. And on top of that, thanks to the low interest rates that make owning these houses cheaper than renting. And so you kind of get caught in a catch-22 if you're a tenant and you don't at least make an effort to buy, because you're missing out on the growth of the equity, these rising prices. You're missing out on the tax advantages of owning a property. You're missing out on the advantages of the pride of ownership and the appreciation of ownership. And at the same time, you're at the mercy of the landlord, who is, of course, now with this lack of supply, raising rents, as we talked about the other day with the Invitation Homes raising rents, Blackstone raising rents, just across the board. You're seeing rents being increased. And so would-be home buyers find that they're being outbid not just by other home seekers, but also by the hedge funds. So in the current neighborhood that you may be looking, I've seen how many homes that were sold recently and sold to investment groups. We've seen the number of owner-occupant percentage versus the number of non-owner occupant, meaning there's a landlord who's going to use that property to rent it out to a business, to a family, to someone else. They're going to get the rent, they're going to get the appreciation, they're going to get the tax benefits, and I'm seeing that percentage grow. And it would be ashamed, because I think it's in the best interest of the neighborhood, the city, the town, the county, the state, and the country even, that there be a higher percentage, a higher number of home owners, because of the quality and the way that properties are maintained when properties are owned by homeowners. So a lot of these buyers, and I'm talking about the hedge funds, they come with big pocketbooks and a sharp calculator. And so if they have that kind of wherewithal, and then they're also hiring the best brokers to represent them so that they get the deal, they're in there to win this game. And if they're all doing this, trust me, it means that they also, with all of their MBAs, resources, analysis, forecasting, and everything, also believe that real estate is going to be more valuable 12, 24, and like in some of the articles that I shared with you last week, 5 years from next year. So the outlook is really very strong. The demographics support it. Interest rates support it. And like I said, also something that many people may not understand fully, but the ability to work remotely, and that our homes have become our gym, our office, our classrooms, and all of these other things, makes the home more valuable, and therefore more home becomes more valuable, and the value of each square foot becomes more valuable. Historically, the majority of these investors have been mom and pop landlords like you and I, and even the mom and pop landlords right now are struggling to compete against the hedge funds. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, hear a few words from our sponsors here on our Monday edition of the Real Estate Show. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, and let's take a look at this from the viewpoint of a buyer and a seller, and who all ought to be sitting up and paying attention right now, because there's a shift going on in the marketplace, a big shift, and you want to be a part of it. Anyway, you're listening to the Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Hey, John, Felipe, how you doing? William, long time no see. Cheryl Ann, how are you? Good to see you. We got some of the usual suspects. We have some new prospects. It's good to see. So what's going on? Coming back. So let's go. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here on the Real Estate Show, my name is Eric Willner, and I'm the host here of the Real Estate Show, now going into our 23rd consecutive year, through good times and through bad times, through the ups and the downs of the real estate roller coaster from time to time. Although I'll tell you that the real estate roller coaster is nothing like the stock market roller coaster. And lately the ride has been a good one for the last let's just see, coming up from 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now we're in 21. And there's really no relief in sight for the demand that we're seeing out there. And so this week I want to spend a little bit more time talking about buying and selling, the dynamics, starting off with today's conversation article referring to the hedge funds. And the hedge funds are a real thing. The hedge funds are out there. You may not know any of them personally, but they come in many shapes and sizes, although most of them are good sized. Like I said, they bring the kind of financial firepower that most mom and pop investors like you and I may not have at our disposal. And even though we've got this whole looming cloud about the moratorium. Just a little update: a federal judge just denied the landlord's request to block the CDC eviction ban. We had a whole conversation. We spent the entire week talking about the pros, the cons, the likelihoods, the validity of it. But it doesn't really matter, because remember, this was only a 60-day eviction ban. So by the time they argue it, they'll probably accomplish the intention of slowing down any possible potential evictions. These hedge funds, the institutional buyers, the mom and pop investors, the home buyers, the people migrating out of cities and all across the country, everyone is sitting on the sidelines still with check in hand. So even when, not if, even when the moratoriums are in fact lifted, there will be a still strong demand. Will we see a dip in prices? Hopefully so. And we've even seen a little bit of a cooling off on those prices. It's not quite as hot. Instead of having 10 bids on a property, now you're only having 2 or 3. But that's still bids, right? It's still making it tough for the average home buyer to buy something, which is why tomorrow evening's workshop, if you're interested in attending, you can text this right now to our automated smart text line. The number is 561-861-2366. Text the letters DPA for down payment assistance to 561-861-2366 for you to receive your own dedicated link to come to our online free, absolutely free, nothing being sold. It's entirely educational about first-time home buyers, which is really designed for folks that have not owned a house in the last 3 years, that or never. But you could have owned, as long as it wasn't within the last 3 years. Text the word DPA 561-861-2366, and you can attend. It'll be probably about a 40 to 50 minute class about the different down payment assistance programs, the different loan programs that are available, and how to place yourself in a better position when buying those properties. And then there will be an open Q&A live. So you bring your questions, bring your doubts, bring your ideas, and stay tuned and be part of that. All you have to do, again, free admission. All you have to do, 561-861-2366. That's the number. That's a smart text line only for texts. And you text the letters DPA, and it'll automatically put you in the queue to reserve your spot. Spaces are limited, and you can imagine this is one area that there is a lot of interest in right now, especially with the rates as low as they are, the special programs that are out, many of them for a limited time only, particularly in light of what's going on. And so you don't want to miss out on this. Kind of another interesting little item. We'll talk about this later on in the week, the digitizing real estate and transforming the industry. It's a whole new thing. But let's talk a little bit about the buying and selling, and it's interesting because whether you're buying or whether you're selling, okay? And I'm not talking about selling a piece of property. I'm talking about you're selling why your deal, why your offer, why you as a buyer should be considered as opposed to any other competing offer. It's not always about the dollars. There are many times where there are two exactly identical price offers, but one is cash and one is financing. Of course, who's going to win? Most likely the cash offer. If they're the same number, they'll always win because the seller wants to have a certain sale. Sometimes sellers will take less money for a cash offer than they will for a full price, but depends on financing, on an appraisal, on inspections, on a potential for repairs. So repairs is one sticking point. Financing is one sticking point. Maybe timing is a sticking point. As many folks that are selling have to go somewhere, and it's important to know before you make your offer, where are they going? Do they have a place already, or do they in turn need time? Wouldn't that be a positive selling feature if they had the ability to stay in their house a little longer while they were securing another place to live? So also, by the way, and in this whole conversation of this topsy-turvy transition that we're going through right now, the U.S. Supreme Court just struck down part of New York's eviction ban. Remember, New York was one of the ones that already, on a state level basis, had already extended their eviction moratorium, even if the CDC hadn't come out and extended it nationally. So there's a lot to be following right now, and we'll keep you posted on this, as the days and the weeks continue to roll on. But I want to go back to our article before, where they were talking about here. For example, if you're a first-time home buyer and you're depending on a mortgage that takes 2 months to close because of appraisals that are all backed up, because of repairs that the contractors and the handyman, they're backed up, and everything else. You're competing against someone, i.e., one of these hedge funds, that is ready to write a check sight unseen as is, and you're at a disadvantage right off the bat there. So, and especially if they really want to win and they'll come up and they'll match your price, they have the ability to, let's say, have a lower rate of return today, knowing that they're going to make it up either on the rehab, the next rent increase. They'll bring the property back up to market, not to mention the fact that the property today is worth $1, and next year it'll be worth a dollar something, $1.10, who knows, $1.20, who knows. Whether it's 5, 10, 15% of appreciation, depending on what part of the country that you're in. Now, David Dworkin, the president and CEO of the National Housing Conference, said that their cash offers typically make up about 25% of the market, but that over the past year, the proportion soared to nearly 1 in 3. In other words, 33%. That means the cash offers, these hedge funds, are now taking up 1/3 of the market instead of 1/4 of the market. And this is having its worst impact on first-time home buyers, who generally are more dependent, and sometimes 100% dependent on mortgage financing, and have limited budgets. It's also hurting the millennials. It's hurting people of color who are trying to become homeowners. And so obviously he is talking about trying to, how do we level the playing field here? The competition from investment entities is a symptom of a much bigger problem, they are saying, in the housing market. The reason we have this supply crisis right now goes well beyond investors. We just haven't produced enough housing in the past 10 years, which is true. Remember, when we had the market implosion, I'm talking about the whole entire market imploded, real estate went and followed. We had the housing crisis in 2008, and for 10 years, basically from 2007 through 2017, there was virtually no construction in the marketplace. And so we had 10 years of no increasing supply, but we had 10 years of increasing population. We had 10 years of recovering economy. And as a result, that's why we're seeing this market on fire. And so the problem isn't just the investors. The investors are just doing what investors do, and that is they employ their money to go make more money. That's what they do. But and real estate being one of the best investments. If you listen to this show, you'll know I consider it to be the ideal investment. Provides income, provides tax advantages, provides equity buildup, even in a flat market, ability to create and force the extra equity through improvements. It provides appreciation in up market cycles like we've been having for the last several years. And it offers the ability to leverage and therefore to create more return on your money, to create a faster growth in your portfolio. Real estate, the only investment out there that has all of those 5 great qualities, and no other investment has it to the extent that real estate has it. So the supply crunch, hopefully when these moratoriums are lifted, will ease. But in the article, it says the supply crunch is unlikely to ease in the near future, although housing starts rose more than expected in June. Building permits, which foreshadow starts, surprised economists by falling by about 5%, a steeper drop than expected, possibly because of higher construction costs and a little bit of the uncertainty. Remember, if you get a permit today, you're probably going to deliver a house a year or 2 years from now. So it is, you got to be very secure about the future when there's all this uncertainty. So anyway, we got a great week ahead for you. We're going to be talking about all of this stuff in more detail. Tomorrow, we're going to get into our tools, tips, and techniques. Wednesday, into our midweek report. Thursday, about the money. And of course, Friday is our wrap-up segment there. Anyway, that's the setup for this week. This is your host, Eric Willner, signing off for another live edition of the Real Estate Show. We'll be back again, same place, same time tomorrow. Until then, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. Chili Will is watching. Let's go ahead and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.